Flight 411 now boarding at Gate 5.
It's been a few weeks, and Don, Acme's COO, Justin, and the rest of the Tiger team are on their way to London to work on the merger between Acme and Landmark.
Good morning.
Don's been working on some important documents on the plane. They're in his local iFolder. The team knows that, as with most mergers, some staff turnover is likely. Landmark's storage environment is already chaotic, and the team is worried about what will happen to home directory documents of ex-employees. Landmark is more informal and disorganized than Acme, and the Tiger team recognizes that bringing order to this chaos is going to be tough. Due to the changes, data security has become a problem at Landmark. In fact, someone actually tried to copy some files off Justin's laptop to a USB stick. Keith, the IS&T guy, is faced with an exploding endpoint environment. He has to manage and secure a very heterogeneous environment that includes Windows and Linux. What can Acme do to protect their endpoints? What can Keith do to easily manage and secure this ever-growing heterogeneous environment? Acme now has many users requesting access to data in numerous ways. With so many requests for access to confidential data coming in, it's only a matter of time before potential risk becomes an issue. Keith tries to warn Don that every time there's a fire drill in finance, he gets burned in IT. People need to do their jobs, but we need to control their access. Don gets it. We need to support the business and stay in compliance with a dozen different regulations and guidelines. Acme needs a more balanced approach if we're going to get a handle on this.
Stay tuned for late breaking news.
The news of Acme's acquisition of Landmark has gone public. And unfortunately, that's making them a target of some pretty unsavory characters. Like this guy. He's taken an interest in Keith, our IT hero, and learned about the Black Hat Security Conference he recently attended. This email invitation looks innocent enough, but if Keith accepts it, the hacker will be given a way into Acme's network. Just as Norman, Acme's CEO, is up late working on some merger documents. What will happen if the hacker gets in? Keith has a meeting with Acme's CIO, who's telling Keith about an article she read that said cloud computing can help the company cut CAPEX and reduce OPEX. But Keith worries about who has control in the cloud. He's worried about security and compliance. The CIO wants Keith to get working on it anyway. In fact, she wants Keith to make Acme a cloud-based business by the end of the year. And adding to everyone's stress, these guys have just been informed that Acme's VP of Sales has just quit. Keith, our IS&T hero, is being bombarded with requests for single app servers. Marketing wants a new web server. Finance wants to try out a new application. The CIO wants a new group-wise server for the London office. Keith is drowning in emails and phone calls, and his to-do list is running off the desk onto the floor. If only he had a way to build new SLES servers with just enough OS for these single tasks. Don here is worried because Landmark doesn't have a common way of dealing with all their files and documents. He's learned that some of the sales team are using a file-sharing site running in the cloud. Don says, sounds like their heads are in the clouds, if you ask me. Keith tells Don about his concerns for security and compliance issues if they save their files to a cloud-based site. Don tells Keith to set up in London whatever they've been using in New York. Oh yeah, and by the way, it has to be done by the end of the quarter, in a few days. Back at his desk, Keith is IMing with an IS buddy back in New York, a good guy named Jim. Looks like things are working out for Keith after all. Keith shares the good news with Don. Everything is set up. The team is good to go. They can start moving their files in the morning. Don is surprised, but pleased. He asks Keith how he did it. Keith tells him, let's just say we have our heads in the clouds too. In a world of changing technology, Project Atlantic will create and manage a cloud environment that delivers on the promise of utility computing by provisioning workloads on demand in a secure and compliant manner.